Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dear Alice. We are going to be answering your questions today.
Listener questions.
We always love these episodes.
Really do.
Soon I don't know what the questions are, so we're going to shoot from the hip on this, and we're going to get you guys those answers, which will be great. Thank you again for writing in. And if you ever have questions for us, these could result in a whole topic, or they might just end up in one of these roundups where we answer all your questions at once. You can send those to dearalice@alicelanehome.com.
Yes. Before we get into questions, though, Mother's Day is in 3 days.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing to celebrate yourselves being mothers or celebrating your moms?
Provo Grandma. You hear me talking a lot about Provo Grandma in here. Y'all know Judy. I just love my mom so much, and
She's awesome.
Her birthday's also on the 13th, and she's turning 80 years old, guys.
Oh,
Crazy.
Happy birthday, Provo
Happy birthday,
Grandma.
Provo
Happy birthday.
That's awesome.
But we'll be, you guys, and I've told you this before, she's just like the master entertainer, like turns two loaves into, feeds 1,000, whatever that story is. Anyway, also say is like, we'll probably have a big Mother's Day dinner. She does a Sunday dinner every Sunday for just like any and all who can come. It's usually 30 to 50 people every single week.
Do you guys cook for her when it's Mother's Day, or does she still do the cooking?
No, the fellas are supposed to kind of like mount up on Mother's Day, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Actually, Tom cooks way better than me, so Tom will cook probably, but
You're lucky.
yeah.
My kids are getting old enough. I mean, well, Demi is now 4, or will be in a few days. So she's just like super excited about Mother's Day. She like knows what it is. So
Cute. So
we're going to try to like cook Mari breakfast and stuff like that. And I ordered hanging baskets. So we have like, so hopefully she's not listening now because giving it to her on Sunday. But
That's such a great gift.
Yeah, so
cute.
I got a bunch for our front porch that we've always
love
wanted.
that.
So,
Cute.
so
That's
and
really
they've been growing for like a month and a half. So I'm like, hopefully they'll be like really full and stuff by the time. So
I love it.
So
That's
great.
such a great idea. What about you, Jess?
I don't know what our plans are yet. Again, the women are not in charge, but my mom is also just a huge part of my story and my inspiration and really my North Star in life. We'll put a little picture up here of her. This is actually mostly me just clobbering her because I'm 5'8" and she's like 5'2" or something, and I'm hugging her. This was the day of our grand opening at our most recent location. So this was about 2.5 years ago, but she is just an absolute angel. Anybody that knows Polly feels her love, and she just radiates just goodness and kindness. And she's just kind of a Mother Teresa of a thing. So anyway, love you, Mom. Thank you for just absolutely being the world's greatest example, honestly.
and thank you to all the moms, all the good moms out there. You know that really is just. It's the warmth that everybody needs. And whenever I like see a good mom or hear a story, it just like, especially the older I get, I like want to like tear up. I'm like, man, love moms.
And it's a hard day for a lot of people. So just like surround yourself with people that love you and that you love.
Okay. Getting into the questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first one is from Kara Frederico.
Okay.
She wrote in and asked, I have finished work 5 feet from the floor. So if I hang art above the molding, the very bottom of the frame would start at 60 inches. Would we be craning our necks, and would it look silly to have it higher up than eye level? Should I hang some art on the molding? And then she gave us a picture. It says attaches a picture of the molding so you can see how high it reaches on the wall.
Honestly, what we do a lot of the times, but it has finished work, like you said, going up halfway in the wall, which is like where the natural gaze for anybody, like that middle of the composition, the middle of your piece of art should be around that 58, I think.
Yeah.
Like a lot of art hangers will be 60, so it'll be anywhere from that 58 to 60 for the center of your art, which does land like right in the center of your molding. And what we do when we go to install art at clients' homes and they have finished work, we've designed finished work, is we do hang it at the ideal height, but you just build some blocking behind the art. So that means just like a flat board, painted the same color as the wall, and then you mount that and then you add the art to it just so it's not like hovering, like popping a wheelie over the molding, if that makes sense. And so
it's hanging straight down and clearing the molding all the way down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So really.
And that dip below the molding and having that be flush just looks so expert. I really love, and I love a layer. I like when things overlap. It adds interest. So don't be sad that this molding height is where it's at. it's going to be such a beautiful vignette to see the molding and then layer on top this beautiful image that you have, whatever it may be. Sue's sketching for you, which is always such a treat. It's going to look awesome. So to all of you that have molding and you're nervous to install art, don't be.
And don't hang it above the molding. Don't feel like you're stapled into that position where you have to, because most people, I think, without asking the questions, will do that, and your art will be too high. You won't be able to appreciate it. You won't be able to see the detail. And so you want your art, you want it to be at like people's human natural gaze level, which is that 58 to 60 at the center of the composition.
I feel like when it is hanging above, that feels like an amateur thing. But if it's, like you said, using the cleat blocks behind it to kind of
blocks. Thank you for
push it out from the wall. Yeah, that's okay. That to me, that's like,
I know.
That's perfect. That's like, hey, I know what I'm doing type of thing.
Exactly.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Guys,
that
I know this might seem like common sense, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Your eyeballs are down from the top of your head. So let's just say I'm 5'8". I am 5'8". Let's not just say it.
Let's pretend.
Imagine.
I'm 5'8". So you can imagine like my eyeballs are probably down from the top of my head, like 5 inches, right? Yeah. So that's your eye level. So when we say like 60 inches is 5 feet, right? So my eyeballs are probably like around 5'2" or 5'3". That's what we're saying. Our eyes want to be in line with the composition of the image. So let's just say it's a landscape. That horizon line of the landscape is where I want my eyes in line with that. So depending on if you live with a partner in your life, if they're tall, if they're short, those kind of things are always considered, in choosing the height. But we have worked with professional art hangers on installations, and their magic number is usually
60.
They say almost everybody is really happy with 60, which is 5 feet off the ground to the composition, like Sue said.
Center.
So if it's a photograph of a human that you're probably looking right at their face is kind of in that 60-inch range.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Most
why.
people hang too high.
Yeah.
In general, that is like the most common mistake we see when we walk into anyone's home. And it's usually the taller person in the relationship is the one hanging the art most often. So they're hanging it at their eye level, or again, above the molding or whatever's most convenient, where the nail was, from the previous guy. So make the correction now and like really study where your natural gaze is and find that median between whoever's living there, that they can all appreciate the art. And it looks also good in composition with the furniture and everything around it.
Yeah, things are closer together and they're more interesting, and they make a beautiful story when the art is within range of the furnishings.
And honestly, layered behind. I think that that's also something too, Kara. I don't know if you've ran into this. We have where people are like above a nightstand, will want to put a piece of art or something there, and they're like, but you're going to cover it with the lamp. And you're like, well, like, it's okay to have some overlap, and it's actually more pleasing to the eye when pieces are kind of sharing space. And that's part of that overlap. So be okay with some. I think it adds intrigue and it adds so much more to the composition, like all together as a home. When you go into a home that feels good, start to like understand the overlap because it's there. Guarantee it.
The next question is from Jessica to break. She asks, my topic idea is around eat-in kitchen dining banquettes or booths. Should you do it? How should you do it? Should it match the kitchen? I have a space that isn't working for me, and I bet many others do too.
Jessica, we are passionate about this. You should absolutely do it. Yes. We actually just switched up our podcast set. I don't know.
We forgot to mention that.
If you're watching, yes, but we
Surprise.
actually have a banquette here. I have a banquette in my kitchen, and not only is it the best seat in the entire house, everybody fights over it. We do have chairs on the opposite side, which are the last to get sat in. It's so comfy and cozy. If I'm working on anything at all that's going to take a while, a long paper, a long email, instead of going to my office and sitting in my task chair, I go to the banquette. It's just so cozy and comfy.
It's
surrounded in windows. Yeah, and it's really, really comfortable. So
Close to the food.
And it feels cozy.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's like the one sectional, if you will, that everybody wants to sit and stay for a really long time. Yeah, and it looks good.
Yeah. I like that she's asking about like the rules, like for banquettes, the rules against banquettes, because I think there's a broad spectrum of like, what is a banquette and what's the best kind. I remember like when we first started like in the business and going into homes, and you'd often see like these banquettes. And a lot of times the finished worker or whoever's building, the builder's like, oh, I'll build you a banquette, which means that he's building basically like a wood box, a board, you know, kind of tracing a corner. And then you might have a cushion or something made for the bottom of it, but you might have a flat back or something that's not comfortable.
They might be using the wall as their back. And then they're putting like throw pillows up against the sheetrock.
We've torn out so many of those.
They don't work.
They're not comfortable.
Yeah, there's not a pitch for the seat. How you sit in a car, like if you were to open up your car door right now and look at the position your driver's seat is in, your seat is going to go down where your bum is. It'll go downhill, right, from your legs to your bum. It's going downhill. And then on your back, it's going from your bum to your head is also sort of angled. Those pitches are what make you want to sit and stay for a while. Those are considered in furniture design, in banquette design, if you're going to get one from a really reputable company, and then you can choose all your finishes. Yep. But this is the favorite seat in the house, and you don't want to cut corners on doing like a homemade version that is just like a ledge that you're going to have an upholstered cushion on, because it's not going to have a pitch in it. Your legs are going to get tired, and you're going to want to get up as soon as you're done eating and get out of that. Yep. Your back's going to ache, especially your low back. Yeah.
So I'd say that's file number one, is like know what kind of banquette you want. They're not all created equally. Our very, very favorite type of banquette is when we can do one made by a furniture maker, because they understand pitch. They understand the human body and scale and all the things. And so yours is made by Hickory Chair, and it does have the perfect pitch. I've sat in it many a times, and I totally agree. I'm like, it is the most comfortable thing. I'd rather sit there than a sectional. 100%.
Yeah, like I like you guys keep saying sectional, because banquette is related to a sofa, not a bench.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'd give you this pro tip too: do the seat in leather, so that's wipeable, because when people eat, inevitably things drop. You don't want to have a fabric seat. So get that thing in leather. Your back is where you're going to have fun. So one of the questions she asked was like, what do I upholster it in, right? Does it match the kitchen, right? Yeah. And I think this is kind of your moment to do something fashionable. As far as matching the kitchen, no, it doesn't have to. I have a white oak kitchen. I have white oak floors. My banquette is like a black and white, really cool, like knit fabric. And it brings this fashion element.
Very global about it too.
Yeah.
Like there's something like, I don't know, international about it.
It felt so gutsy, but you put a white table with it. You're really only seeing like half of it. Right, from table height up. And then below the surface, because I have a black and white fabric, I did a black leather. And then I just did like a natural leg on it. So you can certainly consider the whole outfit, like what's my table, what are my chairs going to be? But I would say definitely go for it on that back fabric.
Yeah.
You just need it. You need the movement. You need the rhythm. You don't want to just phone it in with like a linen back. You're not even going to see it. It's going to go away. You want credit for putting this thing there. It's going to be such a nucleus in the house.
Yeah, I feel like the banquette and the Roman shade are where you can like, and your bar stools are where you can actually like start to have fun. Aside from like tile, yes, you can do all those things, but the things that if you wanted to reupholster the back of your banquette in 5 years, you could do it.
Yeah.
You know, but
totally.
I don't think you would, because you picked it well. But anyway, but you do have a little bit of flexibility there, and that's the art in a space of cabinets.
Totally.
So you should 100% do that. Second party foul for the banquette though, we just looked at some plans that an architect sent us, and they drew this banquette in this massive window, and we started to look at dimensions of it, and it was huge. And I'm like, that poor kid or old lady that's sitting in the center of that banquette that has to go to the bathroom in the middle of the meal, good luck to them, like trying to get everybody out, flipping everybody's bottoms out of the way. So anyway, just be cautious of the proportions, because you're like, oh, I can get so much seating in there just to a banquette. Be cautious of that and like shorten that so it's an approachable length of space for somebody to squeeze in and squeeze out of, that it's not too cumbersome, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. So then in that space that you're not using, that's where you're going to plant a lemon tree. So
that's awesome.
That's great.
Great question.
Sue, how do you unwind at home?
The second I get home, I light a candle and I change into my like buttery soft loungewear from Cozy Earth. I love it so much. It is changing from the time I get home, circa like 5:30, 6 o'clock, I get that stuff on and I have it on till the next morning, and it has changed my whole routine. It's amazing. I love that it like never peels. I've had some of these sets I've had multiple sets, but I've had them for, a year plus, and they still don't peel. Their color fast is amazing. And they really have made me so much more relaxed. you know, especially with the stresses of home. I have 3 little boys. There's a lot going on.
I also have to say, like, you look incredibly chic in them because they drape.
It's true.
Right?
I
It
don't
kind
feel
of-
frumpy.
It feels like a dressy sweat. The way it sort of drapes off your body, it looks more expensive than just like the average sweats.
No, I feel so much cuter in that than just like a normal cotton sweat set.
Yeah.
Like as far as like
Let's just call it luxury loungewear.
luxury loungewear.
Right?
Luxury loungewear made from viscose from bamboo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The
It's so
drape,
good.
the hand, it's so soft. Yeah. I'm a huge fan too. Also love that luxury sweatsuit, and I feel cuter in that than anything else. Luxury shouldn't be out of reach. Visit cozyearth.com and use my exclusive code Dear Alice for up to 40% off Cozy Earth's best-selling sheets, towels, pajamas, that great lounge set we've been talking about. Trust me, you won't regret it. That's cozyearth.com, code Dear Alice. And if you get a post-purchase survey, tell them you heard about Cozy Earth from Dear Alice. Sanctuary awaits at Cozy Earth.
The next question is from Meredith Seeley. She asks, can you provide some advice on selecting a timeless house color that will grow with you? We're near a river with lots of trees and greenery, so I love the contrast of a cream home in our area, but my husband is adamant that it will look dirty quickly. This leaves me debating between shades of blue, dark Pacific blue or light blue, and green, dark cypress or light seagrass color. I'm avoiding anything gray as I prefer warm wood tones for our large front porch and white window trim. House color feels like the decision that will keep me happy in this home for 30 years or want to move every time I pull up. So the pressure is on. We are leaning towards removing the shutters. So if the team has an opinion on shutters, I would love to hear that too. Oh, and we do get to pick a shade. We do get to pick a shade for the roof shingles, another choice related to the exterior color. Thank you for your help in adding so much beauty to all of our homes.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And then she gave us a little rendering at the bottom of her home.
Great. I think that Sue and I are going to fight on this one. So I think we just
fight about?
we
Okay,
just
here we go.
both give opinions. I'm coming from a place of I've built my home about 10 years ago, and there's 2 homes across the street from me, kind of far away diagonally in different directions that have been varying shades of blue and green. And I have to say, over the decade I've lived there, I haven't ever felt like, please bless my neighbors, don't listen to this podcast. I haven't ever felt like it's been right.
Yeah.
It hasn't looked,
In place.
Do you think it's the house, the architecture that doesn't lend itself to the blue and green?
I think that there's like some craftsman elements to it.
Yeah.
But we even have a community here in Utah called Daybreak, and all the homes are like different shades out of a crayon box. And it's like this really sort of perfect, idyllic looking community. What was that movie with
Stepford Wives.
with Jim Carrey, where he's like, "Good morning,
Oh, yeah.
good afternoon, and
Truman
good
Show.
night."
Show.
It's like that.
It is
It's
very
like,
Truman
it's
Show.
like utopia, like perfect, and there's all different colors. And we even have my in-laws have a summer cottage on a lake, and all the cottages are different colors. So I can picture different things in different colors, and I don't know exactly where this home's going to be, but it sounds like they've got some really beautiful forested areas, right? Lots and lots of green. And I have to side with you on this, Meredith. I would go off-white. I know that's not popular for your husband to say, but I think your landscape's going to be so heroic, and it's going to look so pretty and pristine. Suze lives in an off-white house that was built in the 70s, and I'd say it still looks fantastic. I know he's afraid about it being dirty, but I think with all of this great greenery that you have, it's not like construction sites. If all of your neighbors' homes are under construction, there will be a lot of airborne dirt. But depending on, if it's a really lovely, forested area, I don't know how dirty it's going to get.
I honestly don't think it will. It obviously depends on like the quality of paint that you use too, because some's going to adhere better to. Yeah. She didn't mention like what the material of the siding is, but some will adhere to that more and be more of a protectant, and therefore kind of like
a hardy board or something like that. Totally.
So I don't think it'll get dingy either. And I'm kind of like in your camp. When I think of like colorful homes, I think of like Norway and Sweden, and that has that like charm to me, but it's almost like everybody's bought in,
Yes.
you know, when
It's
you're
on
the
the
one.
water.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
on the water. That is the difference.
So
Yeah,
true.
like
Right?
Amsterdam. Yeah, so
Scotland,
pretty.
you like look at isles and stuff, and they all have like colorful houses against the green. And it's like so gorgeous because everybody's playing the game, you know, and it's like
Yep.
this whole symphony of something.
It is.
But
yeah,
when you're
yeah.
the
Depends
one,
on where you're at.
that to me, that feels like I have a
If I
blue
paint my house
in my,
pink, like it's gonna be an upset.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an
Yeah.
upset in the neighborhood, I imagine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I also
so-
grew up where our next door neighbors and like best friends, they lived in a blue house, like right behind our house. And it just always was this one blue house. And her favorite color was blue and all the interiors were blue. And I get it. I get it. I love the color blue too. But I think it has to be the symphony where all of the homes have bought into this thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the one house that just really stands out. And it's like the one that you're like, I don't know what's going to happen in resale here.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. It will have to be somebody else's project. So I just think the most everlasting, beautiful, classic look is that's going to pay you back and that you're going to love for. She said that she needs to be happy there for 30 years. So in the 30-year decision, Alice Lane's been around for about 20 of those years. I still think I'd be happy with an off-white house from here to there, but fight me on it, Sue. What do you think you would do if you were her?
I agree. And like, as I look at like, take Utah, for example, which was like a sea of brown, like 50 shades of brown is what it was. And now it's 50 shades of this. Actually, no, it's like one shade of optic white that everybody's doing. And like, there's definitely, you can feel when these things were time stamped. And so this idea of this timeless exterior of like, what is everlasting when you look historically, having like a neutral house that the landscaping can stand off of is a natural white, but it's a natural white. It does have some earth to it, that it will be more forgiving for like the sand, the dirt, but it'll also it'll still appear to be white against your landscaping, you know, and against any contrasting as far as like your gutters, your fascia, your windows, all those things. And so, yeah, I would say like the most long lasting, I agree with you on that, where I will, you know, I could argue is just that like we believe in an individualized interior, and I feel the same way about exterior. So like understanding if you are going to go against the grain, hopefully you are wooded because that gives you a lot of liberty if you have a lot of trees and things around you. But you know you, and from this, that is the correct answer. For anybody else, like if there is a color in your vein that like you're like you know that forever you will love this color, or you really are feeling passionate about this, consult someone that's great with color. Because that's, I think, the biggest thing.
And that knows you.
That knows you, that's great with color and knows history, has studied it, can like pull out like a paint deck and not show you the first blue, but gets the more muddied one that's going to look better with your landscaping. Or, you know, even in Benmore, they have like the historic exterior colors and things. Those are the ones that have been studied, and there's a certain like formula to it that it will be more long lasting, but it'll give you more saturation. So I would just say, I think Farrow and Ball is great at it. Obviously based out of the UK, they understand history and they understand saturation. So that's a great, I think, formula to go to. Again, Benmore has their exterior like colors that have saturation. So if you are feeling it, just get the right tone. I think that's the biggest party foul on, and honestly, any interior or exterior paint is when they're like, well, that's blue. And like when you go inside, it's like a highlighter.
Yeah.
It's like neon, blue or green, because there's not enough dirt in it. So you just have to be good with color or find someone that is. So
Yeah, that's great. I think
That's so true.
that's really good advice. Meredith, I'm really excited for you. This is going to be so fun. Sounds like it's a new build. So that's great. As far as shutter color on this, I think let's just pretend like the house is going to be a really beautiful earthen, off-white, right? Ivory tone or bone.
yeah.
Yeah.
First she even asked like, what are our opinions about shutters? Because she was thinking about removing them completely.
Yeah.
Shutters, I think, are only successful when you believe that they could be closed.
I agree.
Unfortunately, like they are the halves, you know, if your window is 60, you know, you have ones that like look that they could close that window, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if it's
they're-
not that, it's not like a sticker.
Yeah.
that
They're
so many
as
homes have.
wide as half of your window is
Yes,
wide.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
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 And I think what makes them great is when you have the correct hardware, like the shutter dogs and the hinges and all those things. I think that even if it is stationary, making sure you get that kind of hardware just like helps the story feel more authentic. Like you really do live that Calamity Jane life where you get to close them and open them and let the breeze come in. that's the dream,
Yep.
right? So if they are that way, keep them for sure and get the hardware. For color, every client's different. Some like contrast and some don't. So even if they like contrast, just don't go, I would say, like if you are a lighthouse and you want to feel some contrast, go with something that has warmth to it. Like whether it's like a darker taupe or whether it's a charcoal, make sure that it feels, I don't know, just has some like, again, earth to it. Like you want that warmth for it to feel good on an exterior when the sun shines down on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's probably because like my walls, like in my general spaces are white. My floor is white. My ceiling's white.
Yeah.
There's something so lovely about like the soft step too. I did this at Rachel's on her exterior.
Yes.
Where we did her shutters, just like a different tone of, of ivory.
We'll put a picture. We'll put a picture up on screen for those
I have
watching.
so many saved like on my Pinterest exterior boards that has just that kind of soft step where it becomes more of a textural change, and then you feel the hardware.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's just different on like what type of landscaping do you have?
Totally.
What color are your windows? What color's your trim? All that kind of plays into it. And so, anyway, so study like the whole exterior of that and how much contrast you like, because I think the shutters are a really, really fun game. You have paneled shutters, you have louvered shutters. So anyway, I'm so excited for you, Meredith.
There's a trick that they play in Is it Charleston, South Carolina, or New Orleans? I think it's in New Orleans. And there's this historical color that they use for the trims and the shutters and everything. And it's their formula is 9 parts black and 2 parts yellow. And it makes this almost greenish black. And it's the historical color.
It's like the bag.
That's right.
For all the, yeah. So I don't know where this house is located, but I think that sort of blackened green. If you have forested areas and all of that, where it's black on first note, but it's got an earthiness to it.
Got dirt.
Totally. I think,
Dirt and
again,
lichen.
pharaoh and ball or some of those historical colors could be an answer. I'm with Sue. I'd probably do the stepped thing where it's, sort of that sort of taupey, just, a couple of shades darker than the off-white, I think would be such a beautiful estate. And actually, when I think about driving up to meet my in-laws in their home in Maryland, which is in the South, they had a home that was very sort of similar in style to this home. And it was all off-white, and it's the taupey shutters. And it was just this beautiful, long sort of rambler. And it was in this wooded area on 2 acres. And it was pristine. It was so pretty to drive up to. Had like a circular drive in front of it. So I can kind of picture this being off-white. I think it'd be lovely.
Consider the landscape being the art. This is a gallery.
Absolutely.
Really well.
Yeah, your big pots are going to be doing the magic and all those things. Yeah. Meredith, you're in for such a fun time.
Yeah, such a good time.
I also think like with her home though, if she did no shutters, I think that would, like if I was making the decision, I'd probably for myself just not do them just because of the rhythm of the windows. Like they're like how many
it's
there
almost
are.
Wall to wall from window to shutter to window. It's all touching and the house can't breathe as much. So I can definitely see the benefit of just letting that breathe.
Or we're looking at the elevation. We'll show it up on here on that center portion of the house. Like she has a door, 2 windows on each side. I would take the shutters off of those and leave the shutters on the other wings, the left and the right wings.
Where those gables are.
Where the gables are, but on the main body of the house, I
Leave
would
them
remove
off.
the shutters.
Yeah.
And do planters and things on the front porch.
Totally
Cheers.
agree.
Yep. Okay.
Great question. Thank you, Meredith. Jess, we've been getting a ton of questions on who makes your glasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone wants to know.
You guys, I'm at this age now where my near vision is leaving me. You're not quite as old as I am yet, but Sue, you're experiencing this.
40 hit and I need to make glasses before, but I really, really need them now.
Yeah. Between 40 and 45, that cell phone type gets really tiny. So I was in search for the perfect pair of readers and I tried Look Optic. And I have to say, I've loved them so much that I've actually began working with them a little bit as an advisor. And my dad's an eye doctor. My brother-in-law is. I really, really love eyewear. And it's been really fun to be back in the game. And I love their readers. I love the fashion frames. It's not a pair of frames that looks like I'm wearing something made for men. You know those readers when you go to Walgreens or when you go to the grocery store or somewhere and they're just like a 3-pack and they all look like they were made for men. Look Optic actually has really cute frames that are made for women.
Especially for, again, those ones that look like men's, they look like a giant man on my little head.
Yes,
I have a very small frame.
Suzanne has a child-size head, and they actually have minis at Look Optic. The Diane Keaton collection. I gave you all my Diane Keaton ones.
I love the Diane Keaton collection. They fit my head great. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
They have the cutest colors. Like some of them are matte. They have the bone ones. I love them so much.
Yeah, they're cute. And one of my little like fast passes that I want to tell everybody is that if you do the progressive lens, it's clear up top. You just get magnification in the bottom where you need it, because that's how you're looking at a cell phone, or you're reading paper down here, or you're on your laptop. You don't need magnification out the top, because that's going to make your eyeballs look huge.
Yeah.
And then you really look like you're wearing a reader. So we're trying to like keep this low profile. And so I always go with the progressive. My favorite styles, I really love the Laurel, and they have this cool one that's like the Muse. It kind of looks like a 70s update. It's cool. They have one with a pink lens too. In fact, my daughter's still that one from me. It's great. Anyway, there's something, they have one called Evita that's kind of a cat eye. Anyway, you guys can discover your own styles, but I will say Look Optic has been such a gateway for me as I've needed to jump into that reader category.
And Look Optic is going to give away 50 pairs of readers to the first 50 of our listeners. Yes. That text Alice to 21252. So text Alice, ALICE, to the number 21252. And then if you're an existing customer or you want to purchase classes after that, go to lookoptic.com and use the code Alice15 and you'll get 15% off.
That's amazing.
Down. Yeah, go make that happen.
The next question is from Jamila, no last name, but she has a question on countertops. She asked, what do you do if you get a house that has countertops you don't love in both the kitchen and the master, but you can't afford to change them just yet because there are way more important things that take priority? Is there anything you can do stylistically to improve the aesthetic? Specific to my situation, these have very large splashes of gray, and it just seems a bit jarring to me. I'd rather it be more simple, but maybe I could love it if I knew how to style it. Thanks for your help.
Oh, Sister Jamila.
Suzanne Hall is living in this exact same situation.
I can't, the thing is, like, there are so many rad things about your house. I can't even picture what your countertops look like because I'm so focused on so many other cool things.
It's true. And so that was what I was just about to say.
I don't even think Suzanne notices her countertops she doesn't like anymore because there's so much beautiful art at eye level, and there's so much beauty going on that
they're green.
But they're green.
Susan knows.
Wait,
I'm like,
will you?
Yeah, totally.
Tell the people, what are your countertops?
Okay, well, they are like a total laminate. Again, built in 1971. I don't think they ever updated their kitchen once, having lived there. So they have like a honey colored wood, and they have like green laminate countertops that like also carry up to the backsplash.
Like a Formica.
Formica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they're a dark green. And so I'm like, there's worse things. I mean, we will redo the kitchen and probably do a bump out and all things. But I will say, because people have asked, like, are you going to redo the kitchen? I'm just, and in my mind, I'm like, there's other emergencies that take priority. Bathroom remodels, emergency remodels.
Depends on if the kitchen breaks.
Yeah.
When it breaks,
We
you'll
can
see
only
in your
hope for a
kitchen.
flood.
But to that point, there's just like, you have to address the thing that is like the most important. And if like, I know you're not loving your kitchen countertops, what I would tell you is don't try. I know people might say, oh, you can paint them or you can do these things. Don't even put that effort there because it's nothing that you're going to love now or in 5 years or in 10 years. Like you'll address that when it's time and you have the resources to address that. But I wouldn't touch them, and I would like pay attention to what else you're doing around it, because hopefully you can distract the eye from focusing too much on, the black and white splotchy countertops that you currently have. That would be my advice. And then when the time comes, then you can do something where you're going to go all in. You can do your cabinetry, your countertops, like you can address all those things and make it exactly what you want it to be. So that'd be my suggestion.
I think it's good. I think you just save. until you can get what you really want, and that you don't do anything cosmetically to alter them. You're just going to focus on your styling, getting great art at eye level, and you're just going to lean into what you can control. And then in 5 years, you'll probably quit seeing your countertops. You'll have to remind yourself why you had that slush fund for a rainy day. Is because you're going to finally buy the beautiful marble of your dreams or whatever material you want.
Yeah, I would say we sell this like large T cutting board. That's going to do a lot of work for you. Actually have one sitting flat on my countertops, like, and it almost feels like a butcher block of sorts, kind of taking away some of that countertop. And then I have a big bowl that holds all of our breads and things, because we don't have a huge pantry. We have a small house. So anyway, but you can use that as like this kind of culinary moment where you're like putting your fruits there and like just making it a moment that feels like a garden.
Yeah.
Just to distract.
Fresh basil on top, gorgeous
beautiful things
oils
that you can carry with you when you do the remodel. So again, we have like the little tray that holds like my Tatine soaps and things like that. And there's things of beauty that I love in my kitchen that aren't the bones of my kitchen that make it tolerable until I get to it. So
great answer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is from Janet. She wrote in and asked, I am curious about decorative hoods over stovetops. In my house, I have a stainless steel hood, and I've always wanted to cover it with a custom hood. My kitchen is all white with light marble countertops and matching subway tile. Matching subway tile marble backsplash. The stainless steel makes it feel cold, and I would like to warm up the space with potentially a plaster hood, perhaps some wood detailing along the bottom. Do you feel that this is a good look? Can I add wood detail if there's no wood detail anywhere else in my kitchen? Is it even possible to cover an existing hood, or would I need to replace the entire thing? I think it's like good.
That's a great question.
Yeah, and good insight like on herself, just kind of questioning those things.
I'll say probably most builder grade homes probably do this very trick. If it's not a microwave, it's the stainless steel hood that like match probably the cheapest option that match the stove, right?
Yeah.
And it is like, it's a buzzkill. And we've replaced several in the 20 years that we've been doing this. And I think, we've done it with plaster. I'm thinking of my sister's previous home, and we rearranged some things that weren't great, but she had the microwave over her range. And that was one of the first things to recommend is we need to get a new hood. And so we did do a plaster. When you're talking about the wood piece, that's just like kind of just that wood band, that has that lip. I think it's okay. And especially depending on like your floor, is there any other warmth somewhere else? I don't think there needs to be like a wood feature or anything in the kitchen. I know your marble on your countertops and you have the marble tile on the backsplash, but I think the wood is it feels more farmhouse for sure.
I was going to say, I wouldn't do the wood.
Yeah.
I would just do a big, beautiful plaster hood. And Corey, you'll have to speak to whether or not you could make a cuff over the top of the existing hood, or do you rip that out and just get the insert and just do it the right way? Can you do a Band-Aid over the top and just create like a 3-sided, you know what I mean?
Yes,
like cuff and then get that plastered. Whether you would band the bottom or not is cosmetically like up to you, but what's your professional opinion on that, since you do some of this stuff?
The right way to do it is just to build a hood with an insert to fit.
Yeah.
But if you did want to kind of just like you say, cover it up, you definitely could do that, frame it out, drywall it, texture it. And then, they make like really
more
rad.
expensive though.
Yeah.
Than just getting the insert.
Like possibly. If you're doing it yourself, it's not, but so that is a way to do it. My only issue with that is when you look up underneath it, you're going to see that old one and it's not going to fit in that box that you just created, essentially. So that's the only downside to it.
Here's what I'll say. When we're doing this from the ground up, we generally are making the range hood wider than the stove itself.
At least 6 inches, right?
At least.
Like
so
6 on each
generally
side.
what's
I think so
there,
too.
maybe not even be as wide as the current range. And they're usually kind of angled, and then you get like a chimney effect, right? So you get that sort of shape in your kitchen. And now today we love a hood that's just rectangular in line with the cabinet, or I should say the sides are flush with the cabinetry.
Yep.
So getting that is going to give a larger presentation. But one reason to rip out the old is what Corey is saying, because you're going to be able to see up under that because the hood is taller than you. And when you go to turn it on, you want lights that shine down on your range. You just want a really nice big hood if you can. I don't know if your cabinetry allows for that on each side, but that's generally what we would do. It is the money shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say just by doing it one solid like material like the plaster. And I think if you can, like when you can have like yours like has, I think, don't you have like a pitch on the front?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it
just
kinda
so
has
it's
like a
not,
curve,
don't think of it as just like a solid box. Like have some form like on the front. You're going to be solid.
I love that.
Square it on the side, but have something, whether it's a curve or like I've seen ones that like have the angle and up if like your craftsman doesn't know how to do the curve. But I think having some profile from the side that's pretty to look into that graduates the height. So the distance of the actual insert in your cabinetry, that's usually about like 14 inches from the wall. It's not as drastic. So yeah, I'm so excited for you though. That's a big upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah. So our advice is rip it out, do it right. Definitely do the plaster thing. If you love the wood idea, do it.
I would say, in my opinion, we're on the tail end of that trend.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And so if you do it in 3 years, you might not like it anymore. You could always paint it or something. But I would just maybe start researching like some things that that catch your eye on like Pinterest and stuff like that, and kind of, find the common denominator from everything that is catching your eye and show a carpenter that and go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Okay. One last question from Laura Lambert. She asked, I'm not sure this would warrant an entire podcast episode since you have already talked about ceilings in the past, but I don't think I've heard you address tray ceilings. Our home has 2 tray ceilings, one in the primary bedroom and one in the dining room. Do you like a tray ceiling? How would you treat a tray ceiling, or would you try to remove it? Can I turn it into a coffered ceiling? I am curious if you have any ideas for me.
I do. I think anytime you have any like interior architecture like that, like a tray ceiling that lifts you like in a space, I think it's lovely. I do think it's a bummer when the tray ceiling isn't addressed and it's just like left the same as the drywall. I think that that's a huge missed opportunity. So in homes that we've done that where we've wallpapered the tray. Or we have done like slight finish work. I don't know if I've ever, especially depending on your tray, usually the tray has like angles on the sides to a flat. I don't think I've ever done a coffer in those situations. That's usually when there's like more of a boxed out tray. Then you could add coffers but I think like shallow finish work and things, there's a lot of beautiful pictures. We can find some to throw up on here for you guys to see some like really successful applications of finish work on trays. I think definitely, I wouldn't rip it out. I think I would just like call attention to it and highlight it. Yeah. So be it wallpaper.
And you have to have a fantastic light fixture.
Oh yeah.
You can't have that boob light or 2 boob lights in a tray. It's just a glory for no one. You've got this big moment, this big vibrato that's saying, look at me, right? And then if you go to the expense and all of the detail to treat it, I think that already goes without saying, but you're not putting those boob lights back. You are going to do some really big, beautiful, grand fixture coming out of that that's going to really center your room, whether it be a dining room underneath it or a living room, or maybe it's your home office. It's just an awesome opportunity. Usually in primary bedrooms, we see the tray ceiling a lot. So yeah, I think that's great advice.
I think so too.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
That was it. Yeah, good job, guys.
Amazing. You
Great questions,
guys.
y'all.
Yeah, thanks for sending those in. And I was going to say, check out our Instagram if you are wanting to follow the journey of the interior side. We've got a lot of really great installs happening. Lots of fun projects. So much going on. And the getting there on all these projects, the building of the rooms and sharing what's happening. It's a real inspiration, I think, to those of you that love interiors. So that's at Alice Lane Interiors. And then the home side of the business, where we're selling the beautiful furnishings and all the product that we're creating, is at Alice Lane Home. So check us out on Insta. And if you're an interior designer, you've got to check out our trade program. It's
So good.
Phenomenal. There's so many great perks and expert help, hundreds of vendors, not to mention our exclusives. So check that out. You can apply online at alicelanehome.com. And we will catch you guys next time. Hey, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating.